So the lesson in the gospel, to me, when I was reading this, feels very much like it's going into the the depths of what wisdom really is. But I want to point out one bit specifically. Like a terebinth, I spread out my branches, laden with honor and grace. I put forth lovely shoots like a vine, and my blossom for a harvest of love, reverence, knowledge, and holy hope. And I wanted to bring that part up again because it's reflected in actually the Sophia service when it says, "Mistake not, you cry to the heavens, her voice from out of the earth cries, why do you neglect it? If you bow to the earth, her voice from out of the heavenly mansions cries, why do you linger? Return to your home. For her worship is in the vastness, and her service is in eternity." So the thing I wanted to mention is that wisdom can literally be found anywhere and everywhere. And because we have our own specific experiences and knowledge, a group of people can experience the same event and come away with vastly different things. For some people, it will be another Tuesday. And, someone else will be a life pivotal moment. For somebody else, it's, all the experiences are possible. And part of it is that as humans, we have to, within reason, for humans, well, not perfect, be open to receiving wisdom from any source possible. Because sometimes wisdom comes from the weirdest of people in the weirdest of situations. I remember once, I don't remember, I was at a twice for some reason, and some random guy in line behind me said something, one of those light bulb moments. Again, I don't remember what he said, I just remember my reaction to it. And like most things, it's not really possible on a human level to be receptive all the time because we have our own internal experiences as well as external experiences. And especially if you're going through a hard time, it can be hard to see everything around you for the best it could possibly be if your internal reality is a mess. But the times in my life that have gone the smoothest or the best or have ended up with the best outcomes have been times where I've been able to put aside my own stuff and sort of try and move into present with a mind of openness. Again, not always possible, but when it is, things tend to click, at least for me. And the wisdom is one of those weird things because it can hit you over the head like a hammer or it can be subtle and a slight breeze. And because it can be any range of incredibly subtle to incredibly obvious, the things that can obscure you from receiving wisdom can be the same range. Anything from the most subtle to things the most bludgeoning of hammers. And so that's part of why it's hard to keep that frame of mind all the time. It, especially if the wisdom is subtle, doesn't take much of an internal insanity to get in the way of you seeing that piece of wisdom that is coming your way, for lack of a better word. So whenever you can, just take a second, stop, and you can try and see things, see the world as it is, which I'm not the most observant person on the planet. So when I say that I'm working on this, again, no perfect. The point is not to even be as good as someone else. The point is to be better tomorrow than you are today, and so on and so forth. You're basically in a race with yourself. So as long as you're improving in some way, it's a win. But our only competition is ourselves. And our feelings can be an indicator of whether or not we're on the road track. Not always, but generally, if your internal reality sucks for long enough, there's something that needs to shift. And it might even be as much as you need to go see a therapist and get drugs so your brain gets the chemical. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be you doing it all. It's just an indication of, okay, there's something going on that needs fixing. If there's something I can do about it. And if there is, great. And if not, try and figure out what that is so you can get help in whatever area of life it is. Because it could be anything. Because again, as wisdom is a tree, so is all the things that keep us from seeing the tree. Honestly, every time I read stuff where it compares wisdom to a tree, I always think of the tree of life in Norse mythology. The tree that holds the nine worlds. And it's the framework that's holding the universe. And I feel like that's a good metaphor for wisdom itself, because without wisdom, we can't really have anything else. Because like in the lesson or the gospel, it talks about how Solomon prefers wisdom to health and beauty and wealth and all of that other stuff. Because the thing is that the thing that it doesn't say is that without wisdom, you don't really get wealth or beauty or really even happiness. I mean, there are exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, you need wisdom in order to really have the rest of it. I mean, the thing about Solomon was he basically made peace by making all of his neighbors rich as well as himself. It was very much a negotiative community sort of, not the right words are not coming in, but wisdom was key to peace in his life, is what I'm trying to say. And he had a whole bunch of strategies that worked for him. But the point was he knew what to do because he had wisdom. And so, like Solomon, we need to see the reality for what it is. You know, it may not be a war-torn country, or maybe it is. Who knows? We all have our different lives, but we all have our own internal and external issues that we can always work on. It's, again, it was nothing. So with that, go in peace, and there's a lady left.